so I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gonna let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hello and welcome to Foul Territory. We are on Stadium for the first hour. I'm Leila Rahimi filling in for Scott Braun. Thank you for making the call to the bench all the way to Chicago. Thrilled to be joined by Erik Kratz and Todd Frazier. Guys, I want to thank you for having me.
No, welcome. We're glad to have you, man. We need that substitute every once in a while. Scotty, he gets a little comfortable, so having you on here is a sight for sore eyes. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. We're sick of seeing his biceps all the time, so it's great to have you on here and your smiling face.
Well, thankfully for everybody except me, no biceps to speak of here. I can lift a bat sometimes. I trust you guys to do that work. We've got a fun weekend of baseball to discuss, a lot on the show. And we want you to know that starting on Monday to watch the first hour of Foul Territory, you have three options. You can download the free Stadium app. You can watch the show live right in the app. You can also see Foul Territory on watchstadium.com. Or you can stay on YouTube and watch Hour 1 on Stadium's YouTube channel and interact with us in the chat there. The second hour of the show is still right here on Foul Territory's YouTube channel. I feel like we've got a lot of good guests as well. Mark Bowman, the Braves beat writer, will join us. Then we've got Corbin Burnes and Paul Sewald. It's going to be a fun show. And I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I think we've been trying to figure out how to measure team success and find out who teams really are coming up to not just the All-Star break, but trying to deal with the new balanced schedule. We're really starting to see some teams and some series take shape, some exciting series to watch coming up. What do you think?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, you got all these races. They're really tightly packed, except maybe, the AL East for sure, with the Orioles coming up against the Rays. All these different teams that have possibilities to make it. The Reds are playing the Braves. I mean, that's going to be a battle, especially since how the Reds are really coming into their own. It's just a lot of exciting baseball going on, Erik. And for me, this week is going to be a huge week for a lot of baseball teams.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it'll start separating. I think the huge part is we're going to start separating. Mm-hmm. Everyone's going to start separating. And honestly, the teams that have been winning that we think are good, they just keep winning. But the other teams, the intriguing part is a bad division. The NL Central, I think, in the next 2 or 3 weeks is going to be really what we need to focus on. The Reds are just surging, and they didn't win last night. They didn't lose either, so they're carrying that streak into the Braves series here.
And we also have some big news to discuss when it comes to the Rays. So let's charge the mound and begin with our first topic for the day. Some interesting news about Wander Franco. This came out that he was going to be benched. And we've got some tweets here from the Tampa Bay Times. As manager Cash said, Wander is a really good kid and a really good person. He's a young player that he is learning and dealing with the challenges of being a major league player and some of the frustrations that come with it. Over this season, there's been probably multiple times that the way he's handled his frustrations have not been the way that we ask our players to uphold being the best teammate. Now, he could be back as soon as Saturday, but to be benched for 2 games by your manager, Kevin Cash, that is significant, not just Thursday, but also Friday as well. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I'll go first. I mean, I honestly think, in my opinion, there's 2 things. You're getting benched, either you're not doing well right now. And that's what happened with DJ LeMahieu with the Yankees. Even Boone came out and said, listen, we're going to bench him for 2 days. He's struggling a little bit. He didn't necessarily say bench him, but that's kind of inkling. But this one, it's a little fishy, to be honest with you, because I've seen guys get frustrated. I've seen guys throw helmets. I've seen guys, curse, do whatever. They go underneath and do their thing. Usually a veteran guy will come up to you and be like, hey, listen, we got to cut this out. There's going to be bigger problems than what it is. But to me, I think there's something else behind this. I think Cashy said in his comments, I want to leave it at that. Usually, Erik, for me, there's something else going on. Was there a fight? Was there something he said that was a little derogatory? I'm speculating, but to me, if you're going to bench a guy for 2 days, there's something else more to what happened, in my opinion.
For sure. You never know what goes on underneath the tunnel when somebody makes an out. Maybe he's down there snapping bats. Maybe he's down there. A month ago, him and Randy Arozarena, Randy was like this, and Arosa was like, Wander was like pouty face.
Yeah.
But that's the point of having veterans on the team too. And they don't have a ton of veterans that maybe would call a guy out like that. Kiermaier maybe did that last year before he left. But it's something that there's got to be more to it. Yes, I understand his mental health as far as, Cash had kind of hit on that. He's 22 though. Like 22, I was throwing my helmet in rookie ball. Like he's dealing with this kind of stuff in the big leagues, and he's not hitting the way he thinks he should, even though he has a 800 OPS still in a slump, which is crazy. But I'd love to know more. I appreciate Cash's honesty of why he's getting benched, but I'd love to know more. Like, was there a fight? Was there, did he blow up a locker? And guys are like, uncle, because you get pissed about it after teams winning 50, plus games and leading all of baseball in wins, and this guy's sitting here, pissed off because he's 0 for 3. That's not a good look.
And here's my other question to it too as well. If they were in a tighter race, are you going to bench this guy too as well over a little incident that happened? So there's a lot of compiling factors. I mean, the Orioles are right behind him too. The guy's got a 349 on base percentage. This is a guy you need in the lineup. Leila, it's just very confusing to me. But there's something else behind it that we're not uncovering yet, and maybe it'll come out, maybe it won't. But they're doing a good time right now, hiding it underneath the carpet right now.
I love it.
I am curious about the timing, and it is against a Kansas City team who we know is 21-54 on the season. So maybe you don't necessarily need him in the lineup as much as you would.
They lost yesterday, though. They got the L yesterday. Oh.
Well, and when Cash was pressed about it, he left it at just saying, I'd like to leave it at what I said. But I think everybody who read that was going, there's more to this. So what is the rest of this story? And will it make a difference? But I think that this is something that happens more and more in Major League Baseball. You talk about it's almost like the curse of early young success, and having to go through this in front of everybody, in front of a 24-hour news cycle. It gets magnified in a way that maybe it didn't before, especially when you two were playing.
Yeah, and I just think with all the social medias out there, with all the coverage that the media gets now, I think it's anything you do right now is going to get blown up out of proportion. This one, confusing still, but you can't get away with anything in this world anymore when it comes to baseball news.
I'm so glad. Like, 1, I was never a prospect. 2, so when I got benched for not playing well, that was just my career. 3, like, if I had a camera on me all the time when I was 21, 22 years old, would have been bad news. Like, and I consider myself a pretty mature, like, 21, 22-year-old person, but, like, throwing equipment. I remember I threw a ball. I was 26 in AAA. I threw a ball up the tunnel because I got pissed because we gave up a hit to lose the game in Louisville. Threw a ball up the tunnel, and freaking up the tunnel is a glass window like this big. It skipped, bounced.
Dude, that's crazy. I did the same thing, but I threw a bat.
In Louisville?
Shattered the same thing, but on the other side because I played for the Bats. That's fine. We got something in common.
Yeah, we were not as mature as Wander. I mean, Wander's 22 years old.
That check was a little steep for me too. And then which was nice. The owner actually gave me the check back and said, you know what, this is on us, which was great too. I bought the guy some lunch.
That's less than the window because I know how much the window cost.
Yeah, it's pricey. So, well, hey, everybody has their frustrations. Accountability, I'll give Cash credit. Give him accountability for it. Let's see where this leads to.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you two make some great points, and you're right. They can't take any games off, no matter what the opponent is, because of that tight race in the AL East.
Yep.
Now let's go across the pond. This is a long-awaited series, and it's finally here. The 2-game set between the Cubs and the Cardinals that takes place in London at London Stadium. Cubs had 2 days off. The teams had some time to prepare for this one, and it was a game that was postponed because of what happened with COVID. We're taking a look at how they were able to convert London Stadium into a ballpark. Now, the time before this, the fences were closer in. They moved center field back 7 feet this time to hopefully allow for fewer home runs because the Yankees-Red Sox series, I think, lasted 24 hours per game. I'm kidding, but it was a long time.
It was.
What were your impressions of the last time we saw a series in London? And it looks like the players are having a good time. They're building in a lot of activities during that time off. What did you think when they decided to resume this? And also the process that you have to go through as players to get through this and also play a division rival. It's got to be pretty interesting.
It's interesting for the Cubs. Obviously, the Cardinals are like, oh my gosh, we feel like we're doggy paddling the whole season. But it's interesting for the Cubs because they're hot right now. And the best way to cool off a team is to send them a couple time zones away, 7 or 8 hour flight to a stadium that we don't know how it's going to play. They moved center field back, but last time they were there, a team that struggles a little bit, now you're going to a stadium where it's like, these balls are going to be flying out of the park. We don't know what we're playing. We're playing on turf. We're used to playing on grass, all this stuff. There's a lot. Like, you don't have time for fish and chips. The Cubs, they need to keep winning because if they start a downward spiral, they're going to start trading.
Yeah, I think this is good for the Cardinals. Get away from where they've been. Get outside of America. Go out there. Maybe it kickstarts their little second half kind of push here. But, man.
They're London's team. Maybe they're London's team.
Yeah, just like the Reds are America's team. I guess. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the Cubs, man, if you're hot, you want to keep rolling. So
yeah.
We'll see how the field plays. I thought it was pretty cool how the dirt got laid out. I think that's very fascinating for young minds to watch that.
Yeah, I know the Cubs are sending Justin Steele and Marcus Stroman to the mound. Stroman had, at least at the last time of his start after it concluded, the National League's best ERA. But I do wonder about the Cardinals because as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline, are they a team maybe saying they're not out of it? They think they've got to be buyers again, be really aggressive, knowing how close that NL Central is and knowing that they could make some noise. It's got to be tempting for every team in that division.
Yeah, they're 10 games out. It's they're on an uphill battle right now, but you can never count them out. Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt. They have the hitters. It's the pitching that always makes me nervous over there. So for them, it's go time now. And if it has to start in London, it's going to have to start in London because now you're facing the Cubs, a rivalry in the same division. It's battle mode time, win at all costs for them, or it's going to be a lost season.
I hope Scott's listening to this because I'm finally off the Cardinals train. Like I was there, the lineup's there, but if you're constantly needing to come back because your pitching just can't keep the other team off the board, July becomes really long and you're already 10 games back and your lineup's like, okay, we have to do this. And anytime you're pressing the lineup, it's bad news. So I think the season's over. They need to think about trading some dudes.
Oof. Yeah, that is especially after the offseason they had and spending so much money getting a guy like Wilson Contreras, they're in a real pickle, to say the absolute least, I feel like. And as far as the Cubs are concerned, I'm still trying to figure out if they're going to be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline when you consider, again, how close that division race is, just what you're supposed to do when you know that winning it could mean the playoffs. Now, as far as our poll question is concerned today, I'm excited I get to ask one of these. It's time for the first one. Scan the QR code on your screen or go to your browser, type in watchstadium.com/foul territory to play along. So, Erik, I know you've got a good poll question.
Yes, and because of it's not because of where I lived. It's because I love to eat. Big boys love to eat. What is better to eat? Okay, these are the 3 foods you get to choose from. Is it Texas barbecue, Philly cheesesteaks, or Chicago deep dish pizza? Now, there's only one right answer here, okay? There's only one right answer, but it is a poll. So we need to hear. This is not a regional thing. This is a belly thing. Whatever you're hungry for, Texas barbecue, Philly cheesesteaks, or Chicago deep dish pizza.
And if you lose, Erik's going to yell at you. I want to hear the answers to this. More foul territory on Stadium next.
Today is June 23rd, and here's what has happened on this day in baseball history. On this day in 1917, after what he believed to be a poor call on a close pitch, an irate Babe Ruth charged home plate and sucker-punched umpire Brick Owens in the face after walking Washington's leadoff man, Eddie Foster. Ruth's exit set the stage for Ernie Shore, who relieved Ruth and retired 26 straight batters in a 4-0 Red Sox win. Ruth was suspended for the incident. Next up, June 23, 1962. Larry Doby of the Cleveland Indians made history by signing with the Chunichi Dragons. Alongside Don Newcombe, Doby became one of the first former Major League players to join a Japanese team, creating a crucial bridge between two great baseball cultures. Fast forward to 1971, over 20 years before the birth of Shohei Ohtani, Phillies pitcher Rick Wise put on an unforgettable two-way performance for the ages. Not only did he no-hit the Reds that day, but he also belted 2 home runs in a 4-0 triumph, a rare feat for a pitcher. And fittingly, it was Pete Rose, the all-time hit king, who grounded out to complete the no-hitter. And finally, on this day in 1988, George Steinbrenner made headlines by firing legendary manager Billy Martin from the Yankees for the 5th and final time, handing the reins over to Lou Piniella. Steinbrenner was in discussions with Martin to manage the Yankees for a 6th time, but Martin was tragically killed in a car accident outside of his home on December 25, 1989. And now, back to foul territory.
Welcome back to Foul Territory. I'm filling in Leila Rahimi for Scott Braun. We have Todd Frazier and Eric Kratz joining you as well. And now it is time to preview a great series this weekend, one of 2 successful teams when you consider what's going on with the Reds and the Braves. And we bring in MLB.com Atlanta Braves beat reporter Mark Bowman. Mark, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. I'd say this place will probably be as lively as it's been since, Todd won the home run derby here. How many years ago?
That's what I'm talking. Hey,
Yeah.
Now I know you and me have been best buddies for a while, man.
That's
I
right.
appreciate that, man. Thank you. Hey,
It's been a little while. It's going to be fun to see this place lively again tonight. So
listen, and you can find a jersey of mine and rock it that day. I'm sure you'll get some love if you can find it. Hey, I want to talk about how good the Braves are playing right now. Bryce Elder, man, I got to talk to you. I watched the game yesterday. He was absolutely filthy. He was calm, cool, and collective. It's a name that not many people are, knowing right now, but he's starting to get on the map right now. The guy's pretty much dominant all through the season, man. Talk about Bryce a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, it's a great story. He's AAA Gwinnett's opening day starter. He was pitched pretty well at the end of last year. Was optioned to AAA with 2 weeks left in big league camp this year. Starts down there, but he came up I think April 5th was his first start. He really was part of that first term because Max Fried tweaked the hamstring there in the opening day. So all of a sudden, Bryce Elder burst on the scene. Here we are a couple months later, 15 starts later. He's got a 2.40 ERA, second in the NL. And you can look at all the expected batting average and FIP and all this stuff. I don't care. He throws 90, 89, 90, but that stuff moves. That sinker moves. The slider moves. And Todd, you basically said the same thing Bryce Harper did yesterday. This kid doesn't really have a heartbeat. His stuff is good. He believes in it, and he doesn't get phased. There's guys that get on base, and he's able to get that big ground ball whenever he needs to. And it's been a lot of fun. And here we are about a week away from when All-Stars will be selected. And it'd be a shame if he's not part of that group.
As far as the pitching matchup, when it comes to this series, Mark, we're going to see AJ Smith-Schuster, who had a decent outing his last time when he went 5 2/3, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. What can we expect to see tonight to open up the series?
We're going to get a feel for how, his major league, how ready he really is to be here at the big league level here against this lineup tonight. I mean, it's not to take away from the lineups he's faced before or the last couple outings, but, to be in this environment, to face one of the hottest lineups in the game right now. 2 years ago, he was in high school. And 3 years ago, he was basically, everyone just assumed he was going to go play football at Texas Tech, be the quarterback. And COVID happened, and because some of the football camps got canceled that year there in 2020, he wanted to be with his friends. So they were still playing travel baseball. They were in Oklahoma one weekend, and the coach said, "Hey, do you want to pitch?" He stepped on the mound through 93. And the rest is, kind of history. He became, his days as a quarterback started to fade right at that point in time. Made 9-10 starts for his high school the next year. He grew up with Bobby Witt Jr. He's always been, around he's always been one of the better athletes. I guess he was known as being a great third baseman before he ever stepped on the mound, though. But he's, we'll see tonight. He was 95, 96 at AAA level. You've seen him more like 93, 94 here. The slider's okay. The curveball's okay. I think that what he needs to do is remain aggressive in certain counts. We see him dial it down in two, falls behind 2-0 or 3-0. He's dialing down. He may get in trouble there if somebody, is able to jump on, something, say one of those 91, 92 mile per hour fastballs, that kind of stuff. He's been able to stay out of trouble the first couple starts here, but this will be a big challenge tonight.
All right, so we're talking about Smith-Shawver, we're talking about Elder, we didn't even say Dodd. All these rookies keep coming up to pitch for the Braves. Shocker, Braves keep producing pitching. But is it the pitchers, or is it the incredible catchers that they have behind the plate that are really anchoring this team and the pitching staff?
I mean, it's legit. I mean, it's Travis d'Arnaud, Sal Fasano, and Sean Murphy now form a great group. Tyler Flowers, the intelligence that they bring, the game planning. There's obviously some help. The front office may provide some numbers, but these guys are able to break down lineups and game plan about as well as anybody. Sal Fasano, I don't know if either one of you ever played with him, but I mean, just a very intelligent guy and a great benefit here. And Travis d'Arnaud has just become, as invaluable a leader in this clubhouse as you could find. He's that guy that after the game, he's over there in the corner drinking with the relievers, drinking a beer with the relievers, or talking to anybody. He relates to everyone, and he has just where he's taken his game from he's always been able to hit. He's improved defensively, but just that preparation, I think that's what we've seen where he has grown over the last few years, and he's about as good as it gets there.
You said Sal Fasano. Sal Fasano was one of my teammates, and then he was one of my catching coaches.
Yeah.
Why do you think if you had interaction with him, why do you think he's not a manager yet?
I don't know. I've thought about that. I wondered if did COVID kind of take him, because it felt like he was at that rapid rise at that point in time. Look, we know that Sal was a catcher. We know that he's got that background, and as you probably know, he went and became a pitching coach there with the Blue Jays, and he learned so much from a different. Yeah, he knew about the art of pitching, but when he's really focusing on it in that role, he learned that much more. Just the way he relates to people. Let's say this: I don't know why he's not a manager, but I would say he does. He is very deserving, and we probably should push for him to, when it comes, those names people start looking for names. He's one guy that we should always mention, because I think he is very deserving to be a manager.
No doubt about it. Now, you brought up Travis d'Arnaud, who I play with the Mets. Excellent dude. Just solid all around. He just goes about his business the right way. I want to bring up Sean Murphy. What have you heard about his hamstring? I know he said it was mild. He got in there and hit yesterday for an at-bat. Is there anything stopping him from starting to catch again?
He's not going to catch tonight, which I was surprised. After he came out there and pinch hit last night, they expected him to catch today, but I guess they're going to wait till at least tomorrow. You do have night game followed by a day game. Maybe that's, don't want to push Travis again tomorrow. Maybe this plan is all along has been, hey, just put Murphy in there and then have Travis come back and catch Sunday afternoon, and then maybe get back to truly just in that normal schedule. But they really, even before Sean got hurt, they were starting to get closer to the every other day mix again. You guys have have played in Atlanta. It's not easy to, catch every day in Atlanta. So they've, whether it was with Kurt Suzuki and Flowers, that mix has worked where it's been almost a 50-50. And then maybe you get to the postseason and you want to lean on one guy, then you do it. But throughout the summer, I think that, we're getting to that point where these two guys may go 50-50. With Sean, it's kind of, he tweaked it on Saturday, that the hamstring. At that point in time, you got a catcher, it's a hamstring. You're thinking, oh, he's got to go on the IL. Well, they've now gone. This is going to be the fourth straight game that they've played without a backup infielder. And but you know what? It's not really a big deal when you think Charlie Culberson was here for a whole month and didn't play. They haven't used a backup infielder for well more than a month, somewhere back there in May. So, but that's the way. That's life with a 26-man roster and a DH. You can do that. The Braves don't platoon, and Snit doesn't pinch hit, so you can. That 26 guy just kind of gets lost. So right now, that 26 guys, Chadwick Trump, a backup catcher, and we'll see if they'll make a move once Murphy's ready to play every day and bring up a backup infielder. But I'd say at some point in time this weekend he is behind the plate.
Again, we're talking to Mark Bowman from MLB.com, the Braves beat writer. And Mark, it's so easy to focus on all of the positives in this 8-game win streak that Atlanta is working with. But how do you put the lineup into context, how good it is top to bottom, and how perhaps historically good it is for this team in recent years?
I mean, they've had some good lineups over the years. I think this one, just with Ronald Acuna back to being himself and being able to run like he does, this lineup has power throughout. They've already got 7 guys with 10-plus homers. But it's just one thing I noticed this week in Philadelphia when you look at the two teams. You look at Realmuto and Castellanos and Harper and Schwarber, and you see all kind of power potential throughout that lineup. But what you're also seeing is a lot of station. They're not hitting for the power that you expect, or at least not the power that the Braves are. And when there's what you see, what they lack is that ability to take that extra base, go first to third, that kind of stuff. And that's what you see from the Braves, throughout that lineup with Ozzie, Ronald Acuna, Michael Harris down there at the bottom. Arcia doesn't really run all that well, but you've got even Austin Riley runs a little bit better than you might expect. There's some plotters in there, but there's also plenty of speed, and that's important right now in this game.
Plotters. So you're saying slow people? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Slow people. Mark, you've come on twice now, and you've just been like, oh, the Braves. So they don't need to add anything at the deadline, or do they?
I mean, that bullpen was a mess a couple of weeks ago, and so I'd say that there was thoughts that, but now all of a sudden AJ Minter's turned things around. Joe Jimenez is pitching better, and that's really why they've played so much better in June than they did in May. I mean, this is a very good team. I think that it's going to be important to see where Max Fried is. Right now, it looks like maybe he could get back a little bit after the All-Star break. That'd be great, so you can get a gauge of where he stands. Are you going to be able to rely on Max Fried throughout the rest of the season? Maybe get him a start or two before that trade deadline and get a better feel. I think right now with Kyle Wright, you're looking at probably late August. At best, he's dealing with a shoulder issue, so I don't think you can rely on him. So I don't think they have the pieces to go out and get a top starter. But at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if they would go out and try to find somebody, just because you've got Schuster, Shaver, and even Elder to some extent. They're all going to be. Who knows how effective they're going to be towards late September when they start, pushing towards career highs or, surpassing their career high inning totals. So you may want to get some insurance there from the starting pitching standpoint.
Okay, right now I'm putting you to the test here. Give me one or two teams right now that is able to, in the National League, that is, if the playoffs started now, who's going to stop the Braves from making it to the World Series?
Well, And Dodgers were here when the Dodgers were here a couple of weeks ago. I would have said them. They haven't played as well. Their bullpen hasn't been as good.
It's tough, man.
It's tough to think. I mean, are the Padres ever going to get on that roll to get in the postseason? And if they do, are they going to be that team? Something's going right in San Francisco right now. They're doing, they're winning. It's tough though. I mean, obviously the Phillies found a way last year. That was Strider was hurt and Max Fried was sick, and the Phillies got hot and did it there in postseason. You guys know anything can happen, but just looking at it, they certainly have to be heavy. The Braves have to be heavy favorites right now to win the National League.
Mark, it's easy to look ahead when you consider even this series, for example, 2 teams, 11 straight wins, 8 straight wins. I feel like the playoff feeling and at least that playoff intensity might even start as early as today for the Braves when you consider the challenges they have in their division combined with what they're seeing in a game in a series like this. What is the level of just not focus, but intensity, and then also trying to figure out where they are and maybe needing that one extra thing to make them feel better at the deadline, and combining all of that in a way that that puts us all into some context?
I think it's important to remember we're still just 80 games in, and I don't, you hear the whole don't get too high, don't get too low. I don't think you want to start. Hey, yeah, it's fun to go to Philadelphia and play against a team that was as hot as the Phillies were this week, and it certainly come to Cincinnati and do that. You enjoy the moments, but I don't think you get too high, and maybe you enjoy playoff atmospheres for a day or two, but you just do whatever you can to stay healthy, to stay in the hunt, or stay ahead of the pack, whatever, and prepare yourself to be as strong as you can in September, or for the stretch run and then into October. I just don't, I think if you get too excited about saying let's get ready for the playoffs. Maybe I didn't understand your question, but it's fun to enjoy these atmospheres that when you're playing against a team like the Reds that are going for 12 straight wins. They haven't had 12 straight wins, I've read just now, since 1957. David Bell's grandfather, Gus Bell, was in the Reds outfield that year. So it's something special, going on here, and it's going to be fun to play here and just to get a feel for, where the Braves stand against another hot team.
All right, now off the field, we know you love to try different foods in the different cities that you're in. We have a poll. We have a poll that's up right now. What is better, Texas barbecue, Philly cheesesteak, or the deep dish pizza?
Don't you say it either.
And I know Todd. I already heard it. Todd doesn't. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I like the deep dish pizza.
Oh, come on, man! Oh God, that's it. I'm done. I'm not asking any more questions.
Deep dish pizza is like a side. You can eat a little bit of it. You can't just you can have a whole cheesesteak.
You like that better out of all 3 of those?
Have you guys? Okay, who had the most cheesesteaks during any series you guys were at there in Philly? Like Frenchie had
Matt Latos broke the record.
No, Marcus Hanna beat him.
There you go.
Marcus Hanna was a bullpen catcher for the Brewers.
He did.
He ate 24 cheesesteaks in one 4-game series, and we had an off day the next day, and he was sitting in his room, and at 12 o'clock, his heart started pounding, and he started sweating. Our trainer thought he was having a heart attack.
No, without a doubt.
24 cheesesteaks in a 4-game series.
I can't remember what the number Frenchie had for a 3 or 4 game series, but he tried to stuff one last one as before the bus left the parking lot just to say it counted. I forget. He's trying to Jeff Francoeur, he was trying to.
No, he was cheating because Marcus Hanna ate the last one before the last. He took it out in his mitt. He took the cheesesteak out in his mitt the last game, and he had to eat it while the game was going on.
Oh,
disgusting. Disgusting. Heart attack center.
Hey, so you're picking the deep dish over the other 2?
Yeah, I mean, I love the cheesesteak. Have you guys ever gone to the Knicks there in the market there at Reading Terminal Market there in Philly?
We've been to all of them.
The Knicks is good. I like that.
You got to pick. So you're picking the deep dish.
It's tough. I'll take all three. I mean, yeah. But
Hey, but all right, so you don't want to answer that. Thank you. You don't want to hurt my feelings. Let me ask you this. I'm going to give you something in Cincinnati. I'm going to give you three choices here. You can't really go wrong, except one I'm like iffy about. So all right, if you had a chance here for like an early dinner, Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse, Montgomery Inn, or Skyline Chili, where you headed?
I'm going to go Montgomery Inn.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with the ribs.
I'm going with the steak at Jeff Ruby's. I'll get Montgomery Inn a day after, but you can't miss the steak.
Yeah. Skyline, no. I would
I hear you.
Nobody said Skyline.
Now only Sean Casey would say Skyline.
Yeah, I don't get that. I went to school up at Dayton, and we had a Skyline on campus, and nobody ever touched it except the kids from down here from Moeller and all that kind of stuff. They would
no doubt. Appreciate it.
Whatever.
Either way, have fun in Cincinnati, Mark. We appreciate it. Braves Reds going to be
ask AJ to work a full week every once in a while.
Yeah, no shot. We will pass that on. No shot.
Yeah.
We'll pass that on. No shot.
Yeah. All right. Take it easy.
Thanks, Mark. We appreciate it. That was, again, Mark Bowman. I think it's going to be a fantastic series. Like he said, it's going to be jumping in Cincinnati. I can't wait to watch.
Erik, before we go, how many cheesesteaks have you eaten in Philly or the sitting?
Oh, I was always afraid I was going to play.
Five for me. 5. I couldn't do any more.
5? Were you hurt or were you active?
Active.
Not a chance. 1 with it to go after the game. No chance.
More foul territory on Stadium next.
I mean, David was one of those guys that would light up the tunnel when you come walking out. He would say things. I can say, "Hey, my bitches, how we doing?" You know what I mean? And we would go from there. And that was David. He just came to play, and you know what? We loved him. I mean, I don't know what would have happened with our baseball team without that guy in that dugout at that time, because when he came walking in, I mean, he really got it done as far as running the ballpark and running the clubhouse. But we loved him, and you know what? It was sad to let him go. It's all money about the Twins and stuff like that, but we ended up letting him go, and he went on to just kill it somewhere else, which was heartbreaking for all of us because we knew how much he meant for our baseball team. But you know what? That's baseball, and you know what? Like class act. I love that guy.
What happened? What did people say once you saw what he was doing with a different organization?
Well, I mean, you try to you wish him good luck. I mean, as always I do with every player, whether they, get in the contract and leave the whole package, I'm not mad at them or anything like that. I'm happy for them. It's all about getting the best job, the best contract and everything. And those guys all did that. They went out and, got good contracts. David eventually did, and, made a ton of money in it, and good for him. We had a group. Those guys all grew up together, from Doug Mankiewicz to, AJ, the whole package, Louis Rivas, Christian Guzman, Koski at third base. We had a group. Torrey Hunter was in center. I mean, you think about all that team, and eventually they all moved on. And I was happy for them. I'm always happy for these guys to get their contracts and everything. But once that starts, where your ball club's going to end up being. We're going to be in a little bit of a rebuild, and we had to do that in Minnesota. We had some restraints, money wise, and that kind of always took you back. But our players kept playing, and we just had to keep moving forward.
So I understand here on Foul Territory on Stadium, I'm filling in Leila Rahimi for Scott Braun, that we have the poll results, and Erik Kratz, you said there's only one correct answer?
There was 2.
There's 2 correct answers out of 3?
There's one answer that should never be voted for. That I'll leave it at that.
One answer that should never be voted for out of Texas barbecue, Philly cheesesteak, and deep dish pizza. Mm-hmm. Are you waiting for this thrilling conclusion?
I got a feeling I'm getting hungry.
There's going to be some hot opinions after this because Deep Dish took number 1 on our poll.
You must have hit up your Chicago people out there and let them know before
She was
this.
tweeting. She was
Yeah,
tweeting.
she was
out.
tweeting.
She was Instagramming.
She was.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen Twitter in my life. Then it was Texas barbecue, and then it was Philly cheesesteak.
Oh, wow.
Eric, just for the record, what is your answer? And Todd, I feel like you're a little more equal opportunity.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm just not happy because deep dish to me is a piece of bread as thick as possible, dumped in sauce, and it's something you eat on the side.
It's a novelty pizza.
Yeah.
It's not even really good pizza.
Too much
You
dough.
don't even call it pie. Sometimes there's not even that much dough. There's just like this much topping. So it's like you're eating
fluff. You're eating fluff with sauce.
Yeah,
basically.
Like it just.
Oh God.
3, 2, 1.
pain.
1, 2, 3.
The pain. I also want to know if anybody ever tried eating deep dish pizza or frankly even a Philly cheesesteak before the game. The Philly cheesesteak in the glove is a vet move, but I have to ask.
Yeah.
No, I've never done that. No. That's phenomenal though. He could get away with it. He's the bullpen guy.
Yeah,
right?
bullpen catcher. Hopefully, you're not warming anybody up until the 6th.
Exactly.
It's a bad game if you're warming them up in the first or second. You got cheesesteak grease on your fingers.
What's this cheese on the ball? But I'm curious if anybody ever tried to eat a slice of deep dish pizza, even like one before a game. I feel like that would be uncomfortable.
Yeah, they wouldn't do it.
No, I would eat the cheesesteak at like 4 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm glad they won.
Just in time in case I needed to hit the men's room real quick, and then we go out.
I'm glad they won. I'm glad Chicago got something great.
I feel like you're the award show clap who like finished second and they cut to your table and you're like, okay. All right, time for our second poll question. Maybe it will go better. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to your browser and type in watchstadium.com/foul territory to participate. The question is, which series is a must-watch this weekend? I'm very excited about Braves Reds. Then we have Mariners Orioles. We also have D-backs Giants, Astros Dodgers, and Cubs Cardinals. So scan that QR code and you can check it out. Speaking of which, it is time for last-minute game time. So, guys, which game would you want last-minute tickets to see?
Oh, I'm going to go first. See, what you don't know, Leila, is like sometimes some people, they strong-arm this. So, like, if you can go first on game time, AJ is notorious for being like, oh, you know which games I'm going to go to? And then he goes through like 3 games. And then he's like, well, you can't go to all of them. Like, he totally doesn't follow the rules. I want to see, I'm going to drive straight down 95.
Oh,
okay. Going to Camden Yards, the place that got some of the best votes for the place where you want to watch games. And I'm going to watch the Mariners take on the O's because the Mariners just went into New York and they didn't figure it out. They escaped with one win out of a 3-game series in New York. This is where the Orioles can absolutely squash the Mariners and make the Mariners sellers at the trade deadline. I think this is a huge series. And I love watching Logan Gilbert pitch. Gibby's awesome too, but Gibby's just kind of boring, 3.95 ERA. Want to see Logan Gilbert just do his thing on the mound for the Mariners.
That's a good one. For me, I'm with you, Leila. I'm getting on the PJ. I'm going straight to Cincinnati. 8-game win streak, 11-game win streak. There is craziness going on there. The Queen City is going to be rocking. And it's something that, if you're not be there or be square, you got to be at these games right now because we don't know exactly what's going to happen to the Reds. They're in first place. We know what the Braves are going to give you. Winning 2 out of 3 in this one for the Reds, I mean, this is the biggest test for them this year. And I think with the crowd and Ellie De La Cruz, Matty McClain, watch out, baby. And they got some injuries too, and they're still doing this. So good for the Reds. I'll be on my jet here pretty soon.
I mean, they have put together such an impressive streak over the last 29 games. They're 21-8 over that span. That's ridiculous. I just feel like it's going to be a fabulous atmosphere. And there are certain teams who I feel like playoffs does start now. And I wonder in those really, really tight division races in the East, if that is the case. This is from the great Sarah Langs. On Friday, the Reds and Braves face off, having won 11 and 8 straight games, respectively. It's the 7th time in Major League history that 2 teams will open a series both entering on at least 8-game win streaks, joining. And the last time was the Braves. They were taking on the Yankees. That was in 2021. There was a time when both the Oakland A's and the White Sox had won 8 in a row. That was in 1975 when they met. And then you had to go back to 1906, 01, 1889, and 1884. Guys, I remember that St. Louis Maroons and Washington Nationals game with their game win streak. That was some pretty hot stuff. I'm
So
just
where
kidding.
she's the best. Where does she find all this stuff? That's just
Sarah
amazing.
Langs is, I mean, if she could have just put a random wee in there for us, that would have been the perfect tweet. Her numbers are incredible. I love seeing all of her tweets.
That game was phenomenal, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
St.
mean,
Louis
it
Maroons.
was a real barn burner, as they say. No, I also think that the Astros and Dodgers is super compelling, just
Very
because
compelling.
of
yes.
where those two teams sit, with the Astros being 5.5 back of the Rangers. So Dodgers
need to get
trying to get
going.
it together. I know you guys had a Dodgers focus yesterday on the show, but to me that's a really compelling, like, let's get weird late night baseball type of game too on the West Coast.
There's just so many. So I'm still laughing about the game, how good it was back in 1884.
That game we all witnessed in 1884.
It was definitely a day game. Leila did not go to a night game back in 1884. It was definitely.
And we never spoke of it again until this day. What's that line from Titanic? It's been 75 years or 83 years. This is a look, by the way, at the games that we have going on today, and also what is happening. Oh, I have to share this. One of our producers, who shall remain nameless, said that AJ Pierzynski actually played in that game from 1884.
Wow.
So that's what we have going on.
How do
But
you do?
make sure also, I know that the Gametime app is pretty fantastic. It's a fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, and comedy and theater near you, with killer deals and last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee. You can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. Gametime.co. That is gametime.co. You can find easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. You can also check out the seat views, as you can see here. What kind of seat am I getting? Am I going to be sitting behind a foul pole, say, in the section 108 at the White Sox game? No. Gametime will fix that for you, so you can check it out. Redeem that code FTLive for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code FTLive. There it is. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem that code FTLive for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And like I said, maybe you just go back in time and try to go back to 1884 if you can't go to a game tonight. We've got more foul territory on Stadium coming up next.
In case you missed it, here's some scenes from around Major League Baseball from yesterday. And now, back to Foul Territory.
We are back on Foul Territory on Stadium. Todd Frazier and Erik Kratz are nice enough to have me, Leila Rahimi, filling in for Scott Braun today. I do appreciate it, you guys. It's a fun Friday. I hear it's a Frazier Friday. That's actually an official holiday now.
It really is, especially in New Jersey. I don't know anywhere else it would be, but here, it's a holiday, guys.
Yeah, I got to drive for these holidays. I wish one of these days Todd would come to Kratz's house for Frazier Friday, but no, we got to come to the cage, the lab.
Nothing goes with any days or your name. So.
Yeah, Kratz's strikeouts.
It sounds like they need to create another holiday called Todd Frazier drives to Erik Kratz's house on Frazier Friday,
Ooh.
but we'll get to that later. The poll results are in for our second poll, and I have to tell you guys, the group stands. It is the Atlanta and Cincinnati game. That is the one first. And then interestingly enough, that London series, Cubs and Braves. So now it is time for our BetMGM locks of the day. On Thursday, I get to check out these fun graphics. Oh, look who it is, Scott Braun. San Diego and San Francisco, 8 runs, -120. That seems pretty simple. Erik, I love this picture of you.
Me too. It's like a bobblehead. If I had a bobblehead, that would be my picture.
There's Jake Taylor from Major League.
Jake Taylor. And then simply AJ10. I see it there. The total bases, McClanahan strikeouts, and then Rosarena, and then the RBI in 1+. So there that is. And then now we go to money bags. Again, the classic vintage picture of Erik. You're down $30. I'm so disappointed in you. What happened?
You'd have been way more disappointed about 6 days ago. I was down like $1,800, as much as $2,300. So I went big on Monday. So we got to go hard again Friday here.
Ooh.
Interesting. Okay, and then we also saw Todd, you're down 415. Do you have anything to say about that?
No, my record is 500. So I'm give or take, I'm around the 500 mark. I'll take that. Erik, he's a big hitter. He goes, scared money don't make money. So I give him credit too as well. 22 and 32. Very confusing numbers going on right now with his record, but that's fine.
Being -$30 and being 9 games under.
All good.
You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like run differential in a tricky division. We'll say tricky. Sometimes maybe underachieving.
It just means I'm about to get hot, okay?
Yes.
That's just what it means. Just
and then,
follow my bets.
We'll all chime in and say stay hot. Stay hot.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, now it is time for our locks of the day. Are you guys ready?
I can't wait to hear yours.
Well, I mean, you know, I went with the home cooking. You know that, right?
Oh, no.
So I had to go with our lock of the day. By the way, we want you to know these are presented by BetMGM, and BetMGM players will receive a new bonus bet every Friday for the next 3 weeks if you log on to the BetMGM Sportsbook. Claim your bonus bet through Sunday, and then you have another 72 hours to use it after that. That's pretty good, I'd say. So head to the BetMGM app or go online and get your bonus bet in all eligible states. And you see it there. It is a limited time only. So my lock of the day, I had to go with the guest you had on yesterday on Foul Territory. I know him well. He plays with the joy. Eloy Jimenez to get a home run. The line was set at 0.5. So at least one home run out of Eloy. I think that is easily possible. It's plus 350. So, of course, I had to go with Eloy Jimenez for that Red Sox and White Sox matchup. Guys, Erik, vintage picture.
I mean, I'll take my vintage picture. I love that you picked Eloy. I'm going to tail that. Not as my pick, but I'm going to tail that because the FT curse is you come on here and then you have a burden of hitting a home run. So I love that, Leila. I love your research that he was here. I'm going to go Kodai Senga is going to give me 5 strikeouts. I'm going to parlay it because everybody who follows me, I'm parlaying, and I'm hot, white hot right now. And Taijuan Walker in the battle of the splitters. It is going to be splitter central. They call it the ghost fork for Kodai. But all I need is 4 strikeouts from Taijuan, and I need Kodai to give me 5, and that's coming off at -110, and we're going 330 to win 300.
Ooh, spicy.
Taijuan Walker. Okay.
Taijuan on your burger.
Okay, well, for me, I'm going back to the Queen City. Cincy's hot right now. I know the Braves are hot as well. It's simple one. Plus Cincinnati plus 1.5. It's at minus 120. I am going 360 to win 300. Reds, get on them early, get on them often, get after it. I'm taking the red legs.
I have to ask you, Todd, when you consider temperature being nice and ripe in Cincinnati on a Friday night, they've got a good team coming to town. How far is that ball going to fly?
It's going to fly. The over-under is 11 right now. I feel like they think they're in Colorado. So I was looking at that too. It could be. It could be like a 9-8 game. It could be. It could be. We'll see what happens. They will fly. It will.
Oh, a little extra insight from the Todd father. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying that today for sure. I feel like we've got another hour here in us, guys. I feel like we do. What do you think?
For sure. It's an easy hour. This first hour blew by here because of our incredible host, our guest host here today. So you've done a great job, but the last hour is the toughest. This is when we get the hard-hitting questions.
The hard-hitting questions like, how fun is it going to be to watch these games this weekend? And how much I believe Eloy Jimenez is going to get a home run. I feel like that's fair.
Bello's a good pitcher now. He's facing Bello tonight. Watch out. So he's always – who takes Bello a lot with the strikeouts? Is that AJ?
Lucy Burge is
Lucy Burge would always –
and then AJ takes the strikeouts. He keeps following the strikeouts, but it's 2 L's, Bayo.
Oh, Bayo.
Yeah, there are some interesting there are some interesting props you can check out on BetMGM.com involving Bayo too for pitching. So, and with I feel like that might be a good pitching matchup as well. But I like my chances. I'm also slightly cheering. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
For sure.
Now
I like it.
Listen, when you hit a home run prop, there's absolutely no better feeling. Especially say you struggle during the day, you're like, I'll just put Colton Wong to hit a home run at plus 800 and then boom, right back in the money. Yeah, it's nice.
Easy for you two to say. Thank you so much for watching Foul Territory on Stadium. We're on YouTube coming up next. All right, so I understand, as we are back on Foul Territory on YouTube, that we might have some nerfy and yerfy picks. No runs in the first inning or yes runs in the first inning. Are there any games that stand out to you two? I have an idea for one. I'll give you a clue where it might be. It rhymes with Cincinnati.
I didn't know.
St. Louis? London. I don't understand.
Listen, this is the only one I stayed away. So for me, I'm going Yankees versus the Rangers, okay? Sometimes I go with my brain. I don't go with my heart on these things because Yankees have been struggling offensively. Been talking about them for the last couple of days. And the Rangers, I feel like they're going to get going, but not early in the game. I have Clark Schmidt pitching. I think it's going to be a 0-0 game, so no runs in the first in the boogie down.
So you're going nerfy with Clark Piece of Schmidt on the mound.
Do you know him?
I know Piece of Schmidt. And he's been. I like that. I
like
that.
His record
call.
doesn't show it right now, but he's 2-6. He's been getting after it though.
He'll give up some runs later on, so
I hope not.
I would tail that. Yeah, you hope not, but
No.
You're a Yankee guy, just like Leila is a Chicago gal. So no, the Mets and Phillies. Every time we do nerfy, I gotta go Mets. I gotta say the Mets and the one time I went Mets, they scored 3 runs in the first inning, but they just have a trouble. They're still second to last in the league in scoring in the first inning. So if I can take a team that doesn't score in the first inning and the Phillies who don't score pretty much ever, I'm going to take that. So I'm going to go nerfy Phillies, Mets, appreciation station.
Just for that, I think there's a Schwarber bomb coming because you said
that's
the only problem I got with it.
But his last 2 homers in the first inning have been against lefties. He's staying in on lefties in the first inning. So Kodai Senga is going to throw that ghost fork. It might be a ball and Schwarber might walk, but we'll see.
Hey, wait, we take the walks. Walks are good. Walks are currency.
Yes.
It is time for our baseballer viral hit of the week. I think you guys know what it's going to be. Dave Martinez, he put on a show. Dave Martinez, I don't quite know how to put what he did against the Diamondbacks into words. Just look at it there.
It looks like honestly, I forget who the umpire was, but he's looking like, hey, did you find it down there? And Davey's like, no, you got to get, like, I feel like he's like looking, hey, did you find it? And Davey's just laying there like, bro, you really bothering me right now? I'm trying to get some sun here. Like, leave me alone. That was a great rant. It kind of felt like, he wouldn't stop. He was trying to get thrown out of the game. The pitches, oh man, it was hysterical.
Doug, this is tremendous. And he's like, yeah, it's over here in the dirt. He's like, yeah, but I dropped my contact right here. I got to pick it up. Okay, you dropped your contact. That's what's going on. You dropped it, and that's why you can't see. Doug's like, I did. You really saw my contact pop out?
Oh my!
He's
God.
like, yeah, I'll go get you one from inside. And this is when Doug goes, oh yeah, I don't even wear contacts. And then that's when Davey says, it doesn't matter if you don't wear contacts. I couldn't see from the dugout. I'm in here stepping up. Look at the other umpire coming back from behind. He's like,
I might have the contacts.
I wish I wasn't an umpire. This is terrible. We wear the same thing every day. We don't have home jerseys. We don't have anything. But Davey's hot right now. Davey printed out that picture of the dude running down the baseline. Davey's coming out there, and I love that still photo of Davey on the ground because everybody's looking. Oh yeah, I want to do the next catching technique. Watch out! There might be some Twitter junkie that's out there like everybody's doing the one knee down. Davey's going for the one thigh down catching technique where he's getting underneath the ball. Yes. Who cares about blocking? Who cares about being a big target? Davey Martinez yesterday didn't want to see the game, so he created the newest receiving technique.
And next is the military crawl on your elbows. Is that the next move after that? You just get lower and lower. I do want to ask you a question about this because as players, we know that the Nats are in a bad way. They've lost 14 of 17. They went 1-6 in that homestand. So sometimes I feel like a manager has to take one for the team. You mix it up, you go out there, you defend your players. Martinez talked about that after the game. Have you had that happen, and could you see that being a possibility in this situation?
I absolutely, as a player, I want a manager who's going to battle for me, maybe show a little antics. I'll give you a great example. I was in high A. I want to say the guy's name, but I don't know if you want me telling it. So my high A manager.
Do it.
My high A manager, we had an argument about foul or fair, and I'm playing third base, and I forget there was a big leaguer coming down rehabbing, hit a ball down line, and it was this far foul. Fair ball comes out. He comes pissed off. They're arguing. He's kicking dirt. He gets thrown out of a game. He gets on one knee and starts talking to this guy's ass. So the umpire's looking. Well, listen. So if the umpire's looking this way like I'm, he's behind the umpire talking to that. He goes, I don't even know where your head is. He's screaming, your head's so far up your ass. He goes, hey, Mr. Ass, you blew that call. And I'm telling you right now, I've never laughed so hard on a field in my life. The manager was talking to the guy's rear end, saying that his head was so far up there that the only way to talk to him was to talk to his ass. I'm telling you, it was the funniest thing in the world, and just never forget it. And I never forget the guy. Like, I still text him to this day and tell him all the time, like, best rant I've ever seen in my life. But back to being serious, I want a manager like this. I want him to show a little spirit. And for him, in the dugout, the guys are going to laugh, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, our manager's got our back. Erik, try and top that one.
I can't top that. I mean, I have never heard a rant like that. That is unbelievable. I wish you had the camera on me because I'm sitting here going, Marquise Grissom did that? Did David Bell really do that?
No.
I got to get that name once we're off here since Todd's not willing to blow the guy up. But yeah, the whole thing happened. Nobody was saying that ball was a strike, but somebody chirped from the dugout.
Yeah.
And then Doug looked over and he said, it was Rabbit Ears by Doug Eddings. And he says, you can hear him because it was a hot mic and nobody goes to Nats games. You hear him, he goes, well, you take care of your dugout. And it was like, whoa, like Davey's like, look, we lose a lot of games, but don't talk about my dugout. Exactly. And that's what brought him out. And he had a leash, and you could see at the beginning of it, Doug was like, I'm not throwing you out. I shouldn't have said anything about your dugout. And then he said some words on his way back, and Doug was like, well, Todd in a basketball game? We'll see.
Yeah, of course. Why you got to bring me up? I've never got tossed in a basket. I've gotten teed up, all right? I didn't get tossed, though.
Just one tech, not two.
No, so Leila, the long story short here, for me, as a basketball coach, I told him during the winter how I got teed up a couple of times. It is what it is. I got a little temper, but
Little kids basketball.
It is what it is.
9-year-olds.
I mean, I see it. I could feel like that's the case. You guys get competitive about the locks here. I feel like that could extend to any sort of young sport, and maybe you're in charge, and maybe you want to go out there and have your team's back. You know what I mean? Yeah, no doubt. You got to. The parents really, really said, "Good job, coach," and that was nice. According to Todd Frazier, the parents said, "Good job, coach." We want to remind you also that you can check out the Baseballer Instagram account for the best baseball content on social media. And as I understand, is this true that we have footage? You brought it up earlier, Erik, of the Dave Martinez picture during the post-game press conference. We have this?
Oh, that footage is the post-game press conference when he has, I think it was last week, they were in Houston.
Yeah.
He had his printed out picture, and he printed it out in full color. So this thing was like still wet, still drooping because it has so much ink on it. And he's like, we got to change this rule. Obviously harking back to the World Series in 19 when they got banged, when Trey Turner got, called for being in fair territory, but it was actually you had to run in foul territory, but you had to touch the base, all that stuff. And it went the opposite way. And the Nats lost another game. And I would choose to believe, the Nats aren't doing well. But based on the roster construction, maybe the Nats are hot right now. Maybe they're getting more wins than they actually should be.
Take a good look at it. Is that on the line? I don't think so. I'm over this play. Seriously. They need to fix the rule. If this is what the umpires see, that he's running down the line, I'm tired of it. Fix it. We lost the game, and he had nothing to say about it because he can't make the right call. Brutal.
What was his explanation to you as you went out there?
He said he saw him run down the line. So I said, we lost the game because you made the wrong call. I guess.
The mic drop, the paper drop. That was nice.
I mean, the pictures don't lie. It didn't lie there.
Nope. And he's supposed to be cleared, and the umpire didn't call it. But, hey, you know what? We got umpires not calling that. We got guys in replays saying everybody's blocking it. Leila, you got called for blocking the plate before you even got on the show. You didn't know it. Yep. There's a lot. We talk a lot about on the show about accountability, and Davey was accountable to his team right there. Umpires need to be accountable too after games. It'll never happen. It'll never happen. I guess
it would be great to interview an umpire after a game.
I guess I'm sitting here going, umpires need to be. Major League Baseball needs to be accountable. You're going to get the same. You're going to get the same response. There's just the accountability is not there, especially, and this goes into another topic on the weeds, but when Rob Manfred is coming out here going, laughing at fans and stuff like that. But anyway, I digress.
They don't even tell you who's in New York and making the review.
Oh, you can figure it out. Believe me, somebody's out there figuring it out because they either left New York or they're going to New York, one of the two. Mm-hmm. So that's the crew that's in there.
Yeah, but
they always say replay. And I think you make a good point. Who is replay? Who's responsible for that? And I know you guys have talked about this. It's been discussed a lot, especially among players, but how much umpires are getting asked to do and how that reflects in games where the smallest call now, I feel like, means more than ever, and how you balance all of it and knowing what we see on camera. I think that's all difficult, and it is brought up a lot, especially this week, given all the catching calls and trying to make sense of those. And then knowing which ones apply to the infield hits versus the outfield on a throw. And all of trying to figure out all of that, even as players, it's insane.
It's very confusing on some of these. I mean, balls and strikes, I understand. Watching the Yankee game yesterday, the guy must have missed 15 calls. And it was, the game was out of hand. I get it. But there was some bogus call. I get it. I like the human element, but at the same time, these rules need to be justified a little bit. The catching rule, I know you guys harped on that. That was something else, man. Like, how about giving a detailed answer about the whole thing? I mean, I would love to hear that. Hey, we called this guy safe because before the play, his right foot, give something, you know what I mean? So at least we can have something to talk about because nobody knows what these rules are.
What did you see? And Leila kind of hit on it a little bit there. Yeah. About the whole Yankees game yesterday. of course Mike Ford gets third base.
Yeah, that was
like
simple.
it's 2 base. Like
that took 10 minutes to decide, by the way.
They had to check the ruling.
10 minutes.
Phil Cuzzy and who else was there? That was
Danny
Dan
Bellino.
Yeah, like they were
Danny's
talking.
the head guy.
Like he bobbled the ball, but it's where the runners are when the ball is thrown. It's 2 bases. And they were like, glitch in the matrix.
It was bad.
It was not good.
And I understand that the concept is in an outfield hit. I don't know if it's because partially he was facing him square in Heim in the Rangers game against Anders, but also just the corner of the plate. Like we're so taught now that if you see a pathway on the plate, that's where you're going to go. Mm. And I know all of this is implemented because of what happened to Buster Posey. It's evolved since then, as we know. But still trying to figure out the situation where the ball's landing, trying to round the base, trying to get to home plate, and then also knowing that that's instinct. It's just a lot to try to figure out. And he knows he's doing the right thing. Jaime thinks he's in the right spot at the right time. And nobody can believe what resulted.
100%. 100%. My favorite part of the whole thing is the fact that we got to see Bruce Bochy waddle out to argue it. He was so pissed. He had to put on his big old bucket hat to get out there. And 2, Jonah hit a homer the next night. And as he's coming around first base, he's going like this to the bullpen. It was so subtle, so catcher. This dude's an all-star. Just for that move, just for this move right here, all-star.
Too funny.
So, yeah, Todd, have you been able to talk about it in a public venue since that happened? Would you like to air some thoughts, or did you do that already?
About the catching stuff?
Yeah.
No, I haven't really been able to talk about it. I wasn't on the show, but they really hit on it really well about the whole situation for me, especially me not being a catcher. I had an instance when they first had that rule come out. I hit a sac fly in Miami, and John Carlos Stanton threw out Zach Kozar by like 10 feet. But the guy, Jeff Mathis, Jeff Mathis was catching. The rule was right. He was there, but Zach had 2 more steps to go. We reviewed it, and Redmond, the manager, came out, and there was a picture of him ripping his shirt off, and you could see his belly hanging out in the newspaper. And it's stuff like that where it just boggles your mind. I got the RBI, though, sac fly.
Appreciation station.
And, they just need to explain better. Football does it great. The receiver, he did not get his right foot down in time. Explain it. It takes 10 minutes to understand if a guy should go to third. Take another 10 seconds to explain the outcome of what they saw. Not just it stands or this and that. Explain it. That's all I ask.
And I think that's fair. That's what we've all been conditioned to do. We all know that we deserve an explanation now when it comes to what's happening after a call. So that's not too much to ask. And baseball people, let's face it, we love rules. We love imaginary rules. We love knowing all the rules. We need to outrule the other person if it gets us an advantage in a game. So I don't mind that at all. There was a game that was pretty easily decided in baseball, but that was in the land of ping. How about Omaha, the road to the College World Series? This is a pitcher's duel of a pitcher's duel game, scoreless until the 11th. Tommy Hawk, and he lets it fly. 2-run homer wins the game.
That was exciting, man. I talked to Kyle Peterson about this. He was announcing. He said it was one of the best games he's ever announced, and it was just, if you like pitching, you are really. And that's what he said. That's one I'll never forget. A masterclass on the mound on both sides and a walk-off winner for Tommy Tanks. LSU and Wake, you put on an incredible show for the whole country to see. Couldn't have said it better myself. I didn't see the whole game, but I saw a couple innings while I was watching the other 2. It was phenomenal. And to have a walk-off like that, it just blew everybody's mind how cool of a game it was. LSU comes back and win 2 games against the best team in the nation. Now we'll see if they can keep going forward on this too as well. But yes, college baseball is awesome. It is so much fun. They couldn't have written the script better. Lauder versus Skeens. Probably there. Some people were saying it was the best college World Series matchup since like 1976. They tried to add some others in there, but these 2 guys are top 10 picks, and they did not disappoint. And Tommy White, maybe he transferred for some NIL money from
North Carolina State
yeah.
last year as a freshman, hitting 27 bombs. But he absolutely showed out this season. That was his 100th or 99th and 100th RBI last night. And that dude, if he is not Billy Butler to a T, that is exact. I mean, his interview after the game, he was still out of breath. And he absolutely rakes. And I can't wait to watch him hit in the pros one day.
Tommy White, let's take you there to LSU and the call of what exactly happened to send them to the College World Series.
Come on, Tommy.
Got it.
He's out of his eyes.
It looks like he thought he was going to hit his head on the boom that was behind him. Like that was, he was so amped.
Oh my!
Peter Burns, LSU fan, you've got to love that emotion.
Yeah.
But man, he was into it.
He's kind of got that Napoli look to him too, Tommy Tanks. You know what I mean? Short, stocky stature.
And he sits real low. Oh, he rakes.
Yeah.
I saw him at the Combine back in 19.
Oh, 19.
Yeah. This dude, no, I think that was 21 maybe. I don't remember when it was. I was still playing in 19, so it could have been 19.
Oops.
Anyway, Tommy White rakes. That video was tremendous because, I mean, he was wearing an SEC shirt, so I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it's an announcer. Oh, wait, no, this dude is a huge LSU fan.
No doubt.
And the rest, I can't wait to hear. I would love to see Florida lose just because AJ is a huge Florida fan. I have no dog in the fight, but man, do I love to see AJ get a little pissy.
I think that would be great to watch. I'm going to have to stay tuned for that. Now we want to bring in our first guest of the afternoon here on Foul Territory. It is the Milwaukee Brewers pitcher, Corbin Burnes. Corbin, thank you for joining the show.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me on again.
Burnsy, where are you? Are you in prison?
Yes, basically. No, I'm in the tunnel here in Cleveland. It's the only place I can get a connection to talk and hear some stuff. So, shocker, Cleveland's got the AA Wi-Fi rolling.
Unbelievable. Hey, Corb, I want to talk to you about something that I love and enjoy. You got thrown out the other day. Now let me just review this toss here. You were arguing about calls a little bit, and then you got in the dugout. You said something. DJ Rayburn looks at you, and you give one of these, like what now? Take us through that whole situation because I thought it was great. You didn't, and then he ends up throwing you out because your shoulder shrugged. Then you started laughing loud like that. It was just the arrogance on your part was phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, so DJ had a tough game behind the plate.
There it is.
I didn't say anything to him the whole game. So I was for 6 innings. I didn't give him anything. He was giving me the cutter off the edge. So not going to bitch too much about the stuff he was giving me below the zone. But I ended up walking 4 guys that night, which I think was maybe a career high for me. So 2 of the walks should have been Ks, and so we could see every pitch he's missing, obviously on the iPad in between innings. So I'm not saying anything. He's giving me the cutter off the edge, and finally gets to the 6th inning, and he stops calling the cutter off the edge, and he's not giving me stuff at the bottom, and so it just kind of obviously boiled up there, and made the last out, made the sliding catch over the shoulder. No one likes to talk about the athletic play I made. They want to talk about the ejection, but I spiked the ball, and when I stand up, he's like staring right at me. Like he wanted it from the get-go. Like he was just staring right at me as soon as I stood up. So I'm walking the field, I'm not going to say anything. And he's still looking at me. I was like, DJ, that's terrible. And he goes, what? He goes, I haven't missed a pitch all night. And then that's when I saw red.
No.
Like, really?
No.
Like, every umpire knows that, hey, there's some calls, hey, I might have missed this and that. But he was so adamant that he hadn't missed a single call. And that's where I hit him with, okay, well, DJ, that's terrible. We can see every pitch that you're missing in between innings on that iPad in there. And he goes, hey, you could take that iPad and shove it up your ass. So we had some words after that. Got into the dugout and again saw the pitch that he had missed. Again, another strike. So I was like, Counts came up to me, hey, you're done. I was at 98 pitches. Like, all right. I said, I'm getting tossed after this first pitch. First pitch, curveball, again, not anywhere close to the zone. It was up and out, and I yelled at him, probably not. And he looked at me and goes, okay, now what? And I shrugged my shoulders like what? Like, go, like what? And I got nothing for you. It's probably not a strike. It wasn't. And so he tossed me. And so then I laughed at him and said, hey, I'll, let me know how many calls you missed, tomorrow at the game. And of course, that was the first game of a 4-game series. And, he didn't even look in the dugout or try to talk to me at all. And it's funny. All the guys in the clubhouse the next day were pulling up his rating that you see on Twitter. And it was one of the worst in like 4 or 5 years. So, but hey, he didn't miss a call. So,
yeah, but here's my thing. An umpire can say that to you. Why don't you take that and shove it up your ass? But if you were to say that back to him, then you're getting tossed and probably, fined even more. So that bothers me for one. And you give a shoulder shrug like Michael Jordan after he hit 6 threes, like what now? Oh, no, you ain't MJ. Get going. Like where's the disconnect here? Is what I'm saying. Like that would bother me even more.
Yeah, the umpires have tough nights, and that was just one of them. And apparently the shoulder shrug is what sent him over the edge. And the funny part was after that game was in Zach Brown had their concert on the field for the ALS awareness. And so the umpires stayed after the game to watch the concert as well, like we did. So Wade and Miley was going back and forth and just stirring shit up. Like, hey, DJ, did you really tell him to shove the iPad up his ass? And DJ's laughing. And, just like this guy knew that he had a bad night and he was out there enjoying the concert, doing whatever. So I was like, whatever. It's over with.
Hey, I'm going to be the first one to come on here and compliment you. So absolutely, that was such a great catch. Even better spike in the end zone after you caught it. That was good. But I need to take that hat off for a second. I need you to take the hat off.
You're the first one. You're the first one to spot it.
OMG. You are dreamy. Yep. I mean, are you a rookie now? I mean, are you?
I lost 5 years with the haircut.
Absolutely. Those arbitration numbers are skyrocketing right now.
Eyebrows, too. Look at the eyebrows.
I mean, you shaped the eyebrows up.
I was going to shave the beard off and go completely clean shaven and short hair, but then they might have cut me if they saw the new guy trying to get on the bus, and so I left the beard.
No. They wouldn't have cut you because the Brewers just keep calling up all the rookies. So they would have been like, oh, yeah, here's our new guy, Corbin Burnes. And hey, if you shave the beard off, and now that you shave the hair off, the eyebrows are looking tight, are you going back to the goggles? Are you going back to the glasses?
No, that's what everyone asks. Is that are the goggles coming back out? I said, no. So the goggles was a 1-year thing. Look what happened. 18, great year. Wore the goggles out in 19 and got my shit wrecked. So the goggles are no more.
the goggles got trashed, and now it's all just contacts.
Yeah. And I got LASIK surgery. I full and win it. I had it all completely done, so I don't even own a pair of glasses anymore. It's great.
Nice, good for you. And you probably you don't have to hit anymore. So who cares if the LASIK didn't work? You just don't have your nerd goggles anymore. But the question I have is, did you think about going to Weimer's guy when it was time to cut it off?
I thought about it. I thought about doing the whole mullet, but I'd already told the guys like, hey, if we get to the postseason, like I'll shave it for a mullet. So at least I've got 2 months. I can get some decent length back. That if we get to the postseason, we need that stretch run. I'll shave it for a mullet for the postseason.
Love it.
Yep.
I feel like the haircut changes the mojo a little bit. I know you mentioned the series you've got in Cleveland right now, and I know there's some background noise. You did an excellent job finding the Wi-Fi signal. But what is just the feeling you guys have right now, trying to get through the series against a team that's also kind of in a similar spot, scuffling and just trying to get ahead?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to find that that mojo that we had in April. Obviously, that was when we were playing the best, offensively, defensively, on the mound. So just trying to get it figured out. We've got a lot of great players in the clubhouse, and it's been kind of a streaky time that we have guys go off and guys are struggling. So just all about getting together, hanging on while we can, knowing that hey, at some point it's all going to click. Hopefully, this could be the series against the Indians or Guardians. Sorry. So we've got a 10-day roadie now all on the East Coast. So, hopefully this 10-day East Coast swing can kickstart us and, we can get back into first place.
Hey, question for you here. I want to go to an article I read the other day with Ken Ravizza, the late Ken Ravizza, mental skills coach. And it brought up in the article about you going back to the basics, really waking up, making your bed and just getting that first win. Can you explain that to some people exactly what that is? And, so I don't sound a little crazy what I'm talking about, making someone's bed. But honestly, getting prepared for the day and getting after it a little bit so you can get your mind right.
Yeah, I mean, so the easiest task to do in the morning is wake up and make your bed. If you can wake up, make your bed, you start stacking tasks and wins on top of each other. So when you get to the field, you've got this, base and foundation of, hey, I've made my bed, I brushed my teeth, I picked up my, my bedroom, cleaned up the kitchen, whatever it may be. You stack these wins and tasks on top of each other. So when you get to the field, you have this momentum, you have this mindset of, hey, what am I going to do at the field to win today? So get in and, for me today, it's, go in and get a good upper body lift and go out and get a good catch play and go do some drive work on the mound. So, you wake up, you make your bed, that kind of kickstarts your day, and you start stacking these wins on each other. So when the end of the day rolls around, you're like, hey, I had a productive day. I can, lay my head on the pillow at night and, rest easy and wake up and do it again tomorrow. And
I think what people don't understand, too, as well, the mental side of this sport is so hard to grasp because you're playing 162 games. You have at least 30 to 35 games in spring training. There's a lot of ups and downs. And for you and for people and young kids out there to think about getting a win from Jump Street, waking up in bed. I mean, how many kids do make their bed? I know my kids don't do it. I know they're not brushing their teeth until I tell them. So it's something as simple as that to get your day going and get your mind in the right path. I think kudos to you because that's a really interesting feat.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, it's a long season. You're going to go through months where you're not feeling great, on the mound, at the plate, defensively, whatever it may be. But if you can wake up and continue to stack wins and, track your progress through the day, whether it's through a journal, whatever it is, when you look back at the end of the month, say, I had a tough month, but I'm in a good spot. I've been, killing it in the weight room. I've been killing it in the cage. I've been killing it in bullpen, whatever it may be. You see the light at the end of the tunnel knowing that, hey, it's going to turn around. And in a 6-month season, 2 months of spring training and, month of postseason, it's a really long season. So just knowing that, hey, one bad month, one bad week isn't going to completely derail your season because you're waking up and doing what you can every day.
Let's be honest. Bad months for Corbin Burnes or Borbin Kearns, whichever name you're going with the new look. A bad month for you is like some people are looking around like, am I an all-star? Like your expectations and what you've set are so high. What would be a successful season with your new mindset from here on out for you?
Yeah, so for me, my goal at the beginning of every year is health. If I can be healthy the entire season, I'm making 32, 33 starts, and that gives me the opportunity to be on the field and do what I can do. If I can't, be healthy and be on the mound, I can't go out and try to win games for the team, whatever it is. So, bless you. So for me, if I can be healthy, making 32, making 33 starts, giving the team a chance to win every single day, then I know that the work I put in the offseason, the work I put in the 5 days leading up to my start, I know that I can go out there and have success and do what I do. So the only way that I can do that is health. So that's my goal every year. That's my goal in between every start is make sure I'm recovering, make sure I'm healthy to be out there and give all that I can for 6, 7, 8 innings, whatever it may be for that day. But health is the number one priority for me.
Corbin, I'm curious how you're able to use that training that you have on the mental side and then also putting it into practice to also try to figure out how to either block out the noise that you think it might be when it comes to hearing your name pop up from fans and media when it comes to trade rumors or that possibility, and then also still trying to focus and do your job at this time and in the next few weeks.
Yeah, so for me, that goes back to one of the things that I started working on from the beginning with the mental side of it is the controllables. I know that what people say, what the rumors are, even what other teams are doing against me. I know that I can't control any of that. What I can control is waking up in the morning, making my bed, giving my best effort that day, getting the work done in the weight room, getting the work done in catch play, just doing what I can to make myself available every 5 days. And then also when I get out there, it's not worrying about what umpires are doing, what the hitters are doing against me. So it's trying to execute as many pitches as I can and controlling the things that I can. And at the end of the day, if something else happens that's out of my control, then you just have to shrug it off and go with it. And if that means getting a trade, getting beat up on the mound that day, whatever it is, you live to survive another day and just to get back after it.
All right, so you brought up those trades. Here's my trade. I know I've talked about this on the show, But back in 18, when you were a rookie and Big Woo was still rookie, you came up and then Big Woo was trying to solidify himself. They came to me and asked me, and I didn't know who Keston Hiura was. I think it was Keston Hiura who they were going to throw in. But they said, would you trade Corbin Burnes and Big Woo for Jacob deGrom? They asked me this, and I was like in the org for like 2 minutes. Would you have made that trade if you were the owner of Corbin Burnes and Brandon Woodruff? Would you have made that trade for Jacob deGrom on a rental?
I don't know. I mean, with the amount of years that me and Woody still were going to have, obviously you don't know what we were going to do at the big league level, but I think the value that we had brought to that team in 2018, I think it would have been a really tough decision to trade us two away. We were the guys that were coming in kind of the 6th, 7th inning and bridging it to JJ and Hader and Knebel. So, to lose both of us to get a starting pitcher as a rental, I think would have been a difficult decision. But yeah, I mean, at that time he was one of the best starters in the game. So I think at that time you probably think, hey, we're either win-win, we keep these two guys, or we get the best starter in the game. Looking back on it with the injuries he's had. It probably would have changed their decision now, but yeah, that's a tough one. It's if you're asking me right now, with the starting rotation we have, I would probably say that we would stand pat and keep the bullpen help and keep those extra innings versus selling out for one starting pitcher.
I have to say that I said no, but I definitely thought about it, and I'm glad because I make a lot of wrong decisions. Just ask my kids that I make mistakes all the time, but I said no, don't trade them. But it was really close. I have to be honest.
And that's why he's still there.
That's why he's still there, fighting with the team in arbitration.
Because of you.
Yeah. Because of me. Sorry, Cor.
Yeah, thanks, Kratzy. Shit.
Sorry, man.
Hey, do you play in the Phoenix Pro-Am with Cam Davis and Bubba Watson in February?
Yep. I played in that a couple years now.
How cool is that, man? I would love to do something. Me and Kratzy have been waiting.
For sure.
Hey, just so you know, you're not going to Trout National before us. Just so you know, we're going to make sure.
He's definitely invited before us. We're schmucks now.
Hey, that's my guy. If he doesn't give me a call or give me a membership, you and me are going down by yourself. Talk to us about playing with professionals. I would say you hit 196 mile an hour one time. Was it straight, right, left? How'd you hit it?
Yeah, so the first year I played it was 2 years ago. We played with Bubba on the back nine. So the pro-am, you get paired up with two pros, one on the front, one on the back. And so we played with we played with Bubba the second. I can't remember who we played with on the front nine, but we played with Bubba on the back nine. And if anyone's ever knows Bubba, he kind of keeps to himself a little bit, and everyone thinks he's kind of a douche because he doesn't like to talk to anyone. And so, my goal was, hey, when we play with Bubba Watts on the back nine, I'm gonna get this guy to open up. And so immediately, I just started talking shit to him. Like I was just letting him have it. Him and his caddy. His caddy was loving it. So finally, Bubba opened up to me, and we had great conversations the rest of the way. But he was amazed with how far I could hit it. And yeah, one of those the 18th hole, they had the TrackMan set up, and I think I had a 197 ball speed, and he was basically like, look, like. That's going to outdrive 98% of guys on the tour. Like I put on an absolute clinic that day with the driver. So that's why I got invited back the next year with the guy that has the foursome, just mainly to hit the shit out of the driver and let them play from 50 yards away from the green. But yeah, those guys they're unbelievable. This year I played with Patrick Cantlay on the front nine, and I mean the guy is absolute nails with the putter. I think he had 10 putts on the front nine and shot 6 or 7 under. This is a practice round, no pressure on. And these guys, I mean, they absolutely just tear up this golf course. So it's unbelievable to play with these guys and just to talk to them. Just obviously we know what goes on in our 162 game season, but the amount of travel these guys have, and the amount of they spend basically a full week in the city and the practice rounds and the working out and the amount of hours on the practice range. Like those guys, they may have it tougher as far as we do, as far as the amount of hours they're putting in. But it's just unbelievable the skill level that those guys have.
What's your handicap?
Right now, I'm probably a 2 or 3 right now. It's on the high side.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Have you heard of Whit Merrifield's tournament? Have you heard about that? Have you gotten an invitation yet?
I've heard him talk about it. No, I haven't received the invite yet, but that'd be fun for sure.
We'll get. Hang on one second. Hey, Whit, Corbin Burnes wants to come and take your cash, so you better invite him. I need to get you. We'll make sure the people behind the scenes here hook you guys up. You won't get an email because you're a big leaguer. The minor leaguers and the guys who aren't playing anymore, they get emails, but you'll get a cool invitation.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it. It's fun.
Last thing, when you get your first, it was your first time you were ejected, right? If I recall.
Yep.
So I frame mine in my bathroom down here in my batting cage. So highlight what you said. There are going to be some choice words. Erik loves going down there and doing what he does in the bathroom and telling me about it. So highlight it, make it nice and neat somewhere. So when people come in the house, they have something to read and you'll get a good laugh. You'll hear people laughing in the bathroom for no reason.
I'm gonna have to do that. I mean, so Kratzy, here's a good story for you. I came in after I got ejected. I was told I had to leave the dugout. I was down in the clubhouse in Cincy, and Chager walks by, and Chager said, "Hey, good game, whatever." And then, like, the game ends, and Chager goes, "Hey, you were ejected?" I was like, "Chager, do you pay attention to the game when you're down here? Like, will you quit playing with your hair or whatever you do it in the meantime?" Like, "Yeah, dude, I got ejected. It's my first career ejection. Like, what are you gonna get me?" He's like, "Oh, nice, sick, congrats." And I didn't get anything for it.
Come on, Chager, one time.
Yeah.
I mean, every
That's what
time
I'm
we have a
saying.
Brewer on, Chager comes on, and Chager's like one of these Sarah Lang tweets. It's like Chager's here, and then he's like, wee, and then he's here. He's losing Big Blue's home run bat from the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now he's not getting to use something. Like, Chager's going to be on this show. I say it every time. You need to bring him on, and his weird little ponytail, since you don't have a ponytail anymore. You can play with his hair.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to him. We got to get Chager straightened out. He's definitely declining over the years. He's getting real getting real comfortable. So we'll have to set him straight.
Thank you so much, Corbin Burnes. We appreciate it, and we of course thank you for being on Foul Territory and going the extra mile to find the good Wi-Fi signal. Nice haircut too. We appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Yep, awesome. Thank you, guys.
Happy haircut.
Happy haircut indeed. The golf talk was just solid. That was fantastic, guys.
2 or 3? Come on, dude. I dream about that.
A 2 or 3? I'm a 2 or 3 handicap on every hole.
Yeah, no, that's me too.
Like, I'm getting 2 strokes, but he does absolutely smush the golf ball.
Nothing better than saying that.
Smush the golf ball. So I almost said big league golfers. When PGA Tour guys are like, wow, you smush the golf ball, that means you're doing something. And he was proud to say that too. He was proud to say those guys were blowing up his spot on the hole.
Love it.
We need to play in a pro-am. Like,
no, we got to get in. It won't be pretty, but we got to get in one. We'll wear.
Do you own a collared shirt?
What?
Do you own? I mean,
listen, I just got. While we had our meeting today, I was getting suited up. I'm getting 3 new suits, man. I had my guy
you don't
come
wear a
over.
suit golfing.
No,
you need a
but
collared shirt.
I'm talking about. I wasn't done talking. You always got to interrupt.
No, I don't always interrupt.
I got 6 different. Jeffrey Scott. I got to give him a shout out. Jeffrey Scott, you got some good eyes on some suits. He's giving me 6 collared shirts, ties, the whole kit and caboodle. I'm gonna be looking fresh in a couple months here, brother.
A bow tie?
No.
Little Kenny Ballgame bow tie?
No, thank you.
Collared shirts are so minor leagues. I still have all my colors from the minor leagues. Like, you had to wear 6-8 game road trip in the minor leagues. You need 8 collared shirts.
Do you remember that? Yeah. I used to wear like the gas, whatever. It all had to be was collar.
It just had to be a collar. So you get the Bobo ones, the ones that say like buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Buddy on them, or like anything at a thrift store.
That's it.
Works. Yellow and black stripes. You look like a bumblebee. Collar.
Corky Miller would have the best ones. Ancient.
Some random school or like a high school or a private school or something. You don't necessarily know.
I had a Rutgers one I wore. People are like, what an idiot.
That's random.
I'm like, sorry.
That's random.
You're random.
Your face.
Oh, no. Rutgers is noticeable enough. And so is our next guest on Foul Territory. I know he is a friend of the show. We were happy to bring on Paul Sewald. And Paul, I think we have to ask you to tilt your camera down because, as we understand, you've got some pretty good swag on.
Let's go.
There you
we
go,
got it.
baby.
You guys are sending me good shirts. I got to put them on.
Yeah, you fill that out like a pitcher.
I do what I can. It's all right. I got the dad bod working already. We're 2 years in. I just got the dad bod going. It's all right.
If somebody was, you remember in the minor leagues, you always had to wear collared shirts. We were just talking about it. It's like you got to wear a collared shirt. It doesn't matter if it's 110 in Salt Lake City. You still got to wear a collared shirt. If somebody rolled onto the bus with a Rutgers R on their collared shirt, what would you say? Do you know where Rutgers is?
Well, the only person that would do that is sitting next to you, and I'm pretty sure he did that at least on one of our road trips. But he had a little more service time than me, so I let it slide.
Listen, dude, I could wear whatever the hell I wanted to wear, all right? And I didn't give two craps about it. Paulie, how you doing, man?
Good to see you, buddy. How are you?
Good. I didn't get a chance to see you play or pitch this week. I was working with the YES Network. I was hoping to see you in there. Some close games, just 2 out of 3 lost. But, yeah, I saw the home run. I think Cal Raleigh hit the home run to left. Or, no, that was Ty France.
Ty France, yeah.
And I look in the bullpen, and all you guys are going crazy. Were the fans giving it to you out there or something? Is that why you went a little extra going crazy?
Fans are always giving it to you in New York, but it wasn't any worse than normal. And, I think we just were excited that, we had a couple of struggles couple of nights before. And we're just excited the offense got it going. Those guys have been working really hard, and, to not see the results, it's frustrating. And, when it comes out and you put up a 10 spot, we're just excited for the boys.
Did you guys know? Was the team talking in the dugout before the game or in the clubhouse? Did you know that you guys were going to absolutely take BP off of Domingo Germán last night?
Well, Scott threw a little meeting the night before, and you guys know every time when you have a meeting, the next day you respond, and it's like, all right, well, we could have just done this before the meeting, and we didn't need to have one of those, but it was he'll take it as a well-timed meeting. We'll take it as we just got the bats going.
We always talk about meetings. You have to have meetings when you have a favorable matchup. So Scott Service he's not a dummy, so he knew. So really, everybody, Scott Service knew you guys were going to absolutely bang against Mingo.
Of course he did. The last one was right before we went to Oakland for 3 days. He's very strategic at his times. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Went out on a limb.
Exactly. I we didn't have a meeting the night before we faced Garrett Cole. We just managed to have it before we faced Germán. So, not his first time.
Paul, we were talking about golf earlier. Have you gotten the chance? Did you watch the U.S. Open over the weekend?
I watched a lot of it. Father's Day, so my wife gave me a pass. We got to have the golf open. It was nice. I really enjoyed it. It was I was kind of hoping Rory would come back and win it. It's been 9 years, but it was quite the tournament. LACC looked fantastic, and if there's any members listening, I would love to stop by when we play the Dodgers.
I think that was an excellent pitch. I second it and bring us all along to check it out when you do. You mentioned Father's Day. I know you had some really cool custom cleats. Can you tell us about those? They looked really nice.
Yeah. So Father's Day morning, we're getting ready, just having a little family time before we have to hit the road. And Molly brought in a pair of an Adidas box. And I was kind of like, I don't really need shoes for Father's Day, but I appreciate it. I opened the box and saw these fire cleats and I couldn't believe it. She totally had me fooled. I had no idea what she was working on. And, just to rep being Chloe's dad was pretty special. And I really appreciated it.
Hey, I want to go back because I wasn't here the last time we talked about this, but I feel like this is pretty interesting in your part. When you played in New York against the Mets, you brought out some antics a little bit, man. And I got to ask you about this because I saw you go to the ear. I saw you get a little, you're a little chitty chatty with the booze or whatever. I got to hear, I know you're a competitive guy, but was this planned out? Is this something you were waiting to get back in New York for, or was it just something that just came randomly?
Yeah, I mean, you get to schedule kind of in August for the year before or for the next year, and I got to see that we were going to make the trip back in May, and obviously had that part of the calendar circled, and I enjoyed my 4 years there, but they didn't go nearly as well as I had hoped, and the fans know that it didn't go as well as I had hoped, and they kind of let me know when I came in there on Friday, and then they weren't too excited with how well I pitched on Friday, and they kind of booed me a little bit harder on Sunday, and I didn't really think about it. It just kind of happened, and just stir the pot a little bit and get them going. But it wasn't anything crazy. It's just a little something, teasing those fans for the booze all those years.
It felt pretty good, didn't it?
It felt really good, Todd. It felt really good. Yeah, there's nothing like 3 up, 3 down, get the hold there in the 8th and really silence them. That was pretty nice.
So those Chloe cleats, the Chloe dad cleats, did you or did you not cry when you opened them? Any tears?
I didn't cry when I opened. I probably, had I gotten into the game, probably would have been kind of emotional. Make sure you had the Father's Day cleats. That probably would have been a little emotional. It was no crying when I opened them. Obviously, always a little sentimental when we have to go on the road trip, and she says, "Miss you, Daddy." That's more hard than opening the cleats for sure.
That's the worst. That is the worst, especially when
you guys know it's brutal.
Especially when your kids think you're an app at that age. You know, they FaceTime you, and then you see them like trying to swipe across. Like, all right, Dad, like that's enough time. Like they think you're an app for every other week. It's the worst.
She's really enjoying pressing the red button on the FaceTime, which just ends all these FaceTime conversations. So Molly will give her the phone, and she just touches it, immediately ends it, and so I got to call back, and then Molly's got to answer, and then Chloe. It's like, all right, at this point, never mind.
Yeah, and you can bring that up at her wedding too, because you can say, well, now it's officially red button time. You have to go and get married to this guy. So that's how you give her away. You hit the red button at her wedding.
Perfect. I like that. I'll take notes.
I know that your parents are both accountants, and I didn't expect to have hot accounting talk on this Friday here, but wow. I have to ask, how much does this come up in your daily life? Like, come tax time, are you like, yeah, I'm set, I got this? And given your background in school too, what happens here?
You'd be a little ashamed that I don't use my accounting degree or my parents for anything anymore, especially come April. We have a financial advisor that kind of takes care of all of it. So all my teachers are ashamed of me. My parents are a little disappointed in me, but that's just the way it's worked out. And luckily, Plan A's worked really well, and I haven't had to go to Plan B.
It's one of those things where you can double check though, if you really were uncertain about some things, like, because I see my stuff and I'm like, send it to them. I have no clue what's going on here. Just try and save me as much money as possible, and I'm still angry at the end of the day. Come tax season, because when I used to play, the money that I would give up, holy cow.
Yeah, well, they don't really tell you in Accounting 201 what it's like to file in 25 states and make sure you do this and that. And so yeah. I'm still a little behind. If I could do the absolute basic tax return, but that's about it. So I'm thankful we have people we can trust with that.
All right, now we talked about the New York thing where you let them hear it. I love that, and you play on emotion. Tell me about the whole Naylor thing, like a little intimidation with the net, just a little, or was that because you're a dad? You're a dad, like you're a dad.
Yeah, that's what it was. No, you know what? If somebody hits the ball 500 feet off me for a walk-off homer and they're going to celebrate, they're going to celebrate, and that's fine. And I would never have any problem with that. And Josh is very competitive, and I assume that most Cleveland fans really love it. But when you end the game and it's right in front of me, it's just playful. It's playful sportsmanship. It's nothing crazy. I don't really think that it needed to blow up or anything like that. And if he ends up taking me deep at some point and he rocks the baby, then by all means he's allowed to do that when you get the job done. So it's just exciting. We got the series win right there and kind of let it slip. And I thought it was a little bit funny. Maybe some people didn't love it as much, and it's just I think it's more just having fun out there.
It's all good.
Do you have something you do when you get a save or anything? Have you the dagger? I don't know. Have you thought of anything? I mean, Chapman gives the stare down and then he goes. Down. I mean, guys, what's his name? Used to give up the X's up there for his dad, the reliever for the Giants back in the day. You have anything?
No, if I punch somebody out to end the game, it's usually a scream, an excited scream. But then I don't really do anything else. And then I send a heart to my wife and Chloe, so that's not intimidating whatsoever. So if they want to talk about that, then they can do that. But that's not intimidating whatsoever.
That would scare me because I think you would send it to me. But I mean, that's okay. Either way, that's fine.
You do have Jump Around, though, and that intro gets pretty hype. I mean, they did a whole light show for you and everything.
Yeah, last year they tried to figure out, we were having such a great year in the pen, and they tried to figure out, like, this group needs a nickname, and they came up with the Bomberos, and they started doing, a pretty good light show. It's, this is pretty good. It gets me pretty jacked up when I get to go in a game when this is what they throw out for me.
I don't know that anybody doesn't get. I don't know who doesn't get hyped to jump around. That's fantastic. It's fun to watch too. And I know you're working on a charity project that is pretty near and dear to your heart. Can you talk about that and share it with us?
Yeah, so it's called Sewald Strikeouts for Kids. It's a campaign we have going on for the second year in a row. Last year we did it through a company called Eastside Baby Corner, and now they're called Kidvantage. It's just an amazing organization here in the Seattle area that helps families and kids that are underprivileged and that don't necessarily have the resources that that some of us are really lucky enough to have. When we had our daughter Chloe 2 years ago, we just we realized how difficult it is to be a parent and everything that goes through that. And we're fortunate enough to have every resource that we could possibly imagine between family, money, everything, and it's still difficult. So I just can't imagine a single parent or a parent working 3 jobs and all these parents that just want to do everything they can for their kids, but they just don't have the resources. And that's what Kidvantage can do. They can get, diapers, formula. They can fix a car seat. Anyone that's had to do a car seat in the last 10 years know how difficult that is to make sure that it's safe. Clothes, everything. And this organization can get it to people who need it. And that's what the most important thing is. These parents, everyone knows you're too proud to make sure to ask for help. And Kidvantage just does a great job of getting the resources to the people that need them the most. And so we put together a little Sewald Strikeouts for Kids. So every strikeout we have this season, Molly and I will donate $400 to Kidvantage, and we're trying to get as many people as we can to join us. We raised almost $75,000 last year, and we're trying to top that this year. And we're really, really excited. You can go to any of my social media pages, my Instagram, my Twitter, and I have the budget campaign link in there. And we think of it as a win-win-win. If I strike people out, it's good for me, it's good for the Mariners, and it's good for kids in our Seattle area.
You'll see some guys purposely striking out in the 9th inning now, but putting a car seat in might be tougher than getting out of a bases loaded jam. But there's definitely a jam in Oakland, and they're trying to come to your city. Do you want the A's in Vegas, or do you want a expansion team in Vegas?
More than anything, we want the A's to stay in Oakland. That Oakland A's brand is strong. I think those fans are strong. You saw with the reverse boycott how much they love their team. If they could put a team out there that they're willing to watch, the fans will be there. It's just so frustrating that we're trying to cop out and we're trying to move like the Raiders did, and it's just really frustrating. And I feel terrible for Oakland fans. I saw Bryce wore A's colored cleats when they were there, and it's like he's a Vegas guy too, and I totally agree with him that expansion is the way to go. It's going to be a really tough situation where people in Las Vegas are not necessarily A's fans. So now you're gonna move teams, and this team doesn't have a ton of players that Las Vegans really know about or really have watched, and now they're gonna try and take this team on, and we just saw how well the Golden Knights did with expansion, and I just really thought that was, if you were ever going to build a team in Vegas, I thought that was the best way to do it. And I know we're getting to the 11th hour of this, unfortunately, but hopefully, I'm still hoping out that we can figure out some way to keep the A's in Oakland and hopefully expand, and obviously MLB is looking for that anyways, and so if we can get to 32 teams with an expansion team in Vegas, that would be what I would hope for, but. Yeah, if they're going to be in Vegas, then maybe I can finish my career in Las Vegas. I think that'd be pretty cool.
We appreciate the time so much, Paul Sewald, and also sharing all that you're working on with us. Thanks for joining us here on Foul Territory and for wearing the shirt. That's fantastic.
Well, you guys send me this soft shirt. The least I could do is wear it for our interviews. Obviously, it's no big deal. So thank you for having me, guys. I love coming on, and you guys are great. I appreciate it.
Thanks. That was great. Sewald Strikeouts for Kids. If you guys need that information one more time, that's great work that they're doing.
So awesome. I mean, anytime, I guess that wouldn't make me feel any better. If I strike out against him, I'd still be just the same slamming my bat. But at least I know, maybe the day after I'd be like, oh, that's cool. Like, yeah, I struck out. Like, some kids are getting some cool, getting some help.
Diapers, everything.
The car seat thing. The car seat is a real deal. You gotta bend your knee into there, push it down. The whole car.
Are you still doing car seats?
No.
Yeah, I got a 4-year-old, so we're almost out of the stage.
So you got the booster.
Couple more years. Yeah,
you got the booster.
We got the boost, which is a lot easier, but you got to put it through the hole of that one and get it on the back side of the other one. Yeah. And
you're a rule follower, so I know you're getting that thing in there perfectly right. Like,
you bet your ass I am.
Safe.
My wife would kick my butt. Listen.
Yeah. Okay. So she's a rule follower.
But the thing is, you sit on this damn thing, and you got to yank the sides up to make it real tight. And you're sweating. I mean, for you to get in the car has got to be ridiculous. For me, it's tough, but for you, it's like Shaquille O'Neal in a go-kart.
Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal's not. The Buick sponsorships, they're making different size. Yeah, us big head people, we can't fit in cars without a sunroof.
Nope.
I'm still trying to figure out how long it takes to get the car seat into the car, and then all the ways you have to turn it at certain ages. And any manuals that come with having kids, I hear those exist. I hear those don't exist. But if you have them, please pass them along for anybody who's interested.
Yes, for sure.
I heard it's time to slap hands here in foul territory. We got to that part of the show?
All the way.
Look at this.
You weren't here for this game. You were eating before the game ended, so you weren't able to slap hands. So next time we'll get you in there.
Yeah.
I was probably having a cheesesteak. Or was I having deep dish pizza?
You were the starting pitcher. You didn't have deep dish pizza because then your next start you wouldn't have done well. You had a cheesesteak and you were super excited about it.
Yeah.
Dream cheesesteak from Delisandro's in Philly. That would be my vote.
Very good.
Delisandro's
solid.
I go Delco. Delco, there's 2 locations, one in Delaware County and then another one actually down in Clearwater. So Delco makes it. It's a thin style cheesesteak. Oof, let's go.
I hate when I order a cheesesteak from somewhere else and they give you a steak.
That's terrible.
And with cheese on it.
And it's like thick pieces and you're like,
yeah, exactly. No, 100%.
Yeah, no.
And they don't do that.
And they say Philly cheesesteak on it.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
You're so excited. And it comes out and you're just like, that's my bad.
That's a Chicago thing too, probably. I've never done
They actually just put the jar of Cheese Whiz on top of the actual steak. That's no, I feel like the move here is like from the show The Bear. They do the Italian beef here with the giardiniera. That's always super popular.
Haven't seen it.
I understand that you have a hat, Mr. Kratz.
I always wear hats.
Kratz hat.
Is it time for Kratz's hats?
I always have a different hat on from my few stops, and it's because I've got a super bald head and everyone else on the show doesn't have bald head.
It's a fierce pig there.
Is it
Protect the dome?
The Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, they have, they might have 70 now. I think we used to have 72 home games, and I think we had 63 jersey and hat combinations. So this was one of them. I don't remember what it was, but it is absolutely fire with the Iron Pigs. The normal colors are like a navy and maroon. So this is orange and gray and black. This hat, I wear this hat all the time. If you see me down at the shore, I know. My head's all shiny. But if you see me down at the shore, this hat, I wear this hat all the time at the shore because it's got suntan lotion still inside of it.
With that head, you got to have the lotion.
Oh, you need all the lotion. You need, my wife puts on nice powder lotion.
Yeah, no.
I need full just eye black on the top of my head to keep that.
And have some white hanging off the nose and the ear.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed.
Got to get the excellent sunscreen. We don't mince over here. You got to get the stuff that has the flashback. I think the kids call that glowy now. It's not shiny. It's just glowy. You're glowy.
It's a glow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like
gloss.
A sheen.
You're protecting the dome. You're doing the right thing. We also have some birthdays to shout out, as I understand. Of course, I'm going to mention Jim DeShays first because of my proximity, so I just did. Ha ha ha. Nice. Jorge Mateo, Mark Hendrickson, Dave Goltz, Tom Haller, and Tim Anderson.
So baby.
Those are the June 23 birthdays.
You bookended it with your Chicago-ness there, but I got to take the Mark Henderson birthday because I hit an absolute tank off of Mark Henderson, who I think was drafted 5 times because he played in the NBA. He went to junior college. He was 6'10". He threw 83, and I hit an absolute nuke off him at the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. So it's like a full circle. You bookended with Chicago. I hit a dinger off of Mark Hendrickson.
Hey, let's not forget, Leila, wasn't it your birthday yesterday too?
It was my birthday.
Happy birthday. 21, 22.
And a half. And guess what I get to do for my birthday?
Oh, okay.
Foul territory. Let's go.
It was a half birthday. See, I think we should have birth weeks where you celebrate all week because I love cake. No, I love cake.
No.
Brownies. I love cake. Brownies?
Tim Anderson, I just text him happy birthday. Appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. Dog, give me a little love.
Yeah, TA, right on the set.
I feel
We'll
like
get him
that's
on the show
TA
here
style.
soon. That'd be great. We'll get you back on with him.
Monday.
I appreciate you guys
Right?
letting
Monday,
me come
Leila?
out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We had a good time.
I don't know either.
I will tell you this, by the way, on Monday, and everybody who's watching, to watch the first hour of Foul Territory, you've got to be on the Stadium app, watchstadium.com, or be on Stadium's YouTube channel. The second hour of the show will be right here on our YouTube channel. Thank you for putting up with this rookie to the Foul Territory show, guys. I really do appreciate it.
Hey, anytime.
You did
That was
awesome.
awesome. Awesome time.
Thanks for watching.